what are the must-haves for a title contender? We're watching the game right now. It's a timeout. The Mavs are getting a little feisty. I believe that they've cut it to 1. I don't remember the time on the game. But we're going to talk about the must-haves for a title contender because we're watching these teams, all right, and we're seeing OKC make a run, Mavs, Dallas. I don't know if y'all know where most of those teams are. Plus, you talk about Wemby. We're all in our conference, and then we didn't even mention New Orleans.
Yeah,
there's a lot of shakeup going to happen. That's just in the Southwest. That's not even the West. That's the Southwest.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of things, but if you had to make a list, and I'm going to write these down, make sure that we keep a tally of them. We're looking at making sure that the Grizzlies are top 5 in either offense or defense. So how do you get a team like that there? What are your must-haves for to be a real title contender? So give me one.
Health.
Okay.
I think it's like it goes like a little bit sort of in the cliche obvious department. Thank you.
No.
My wife tolerates it. I will not say loves it, but we're going with it right now. So appreciate it. We're going to see what we can do for the next couple weeks before baby gets here. You got to be healthy, which we saw like the direct results of what happens when you're not this year, right? Like It was a mess in 100 different ways. So there you go. Number 1. I've got plenty more loaded for you.
All right. Mine is going to be good kitty. No, I'm kidding.
First off,
bad kitty.
Pause. Pause.
I will have to say that superstar, and I don't know how we want to classify that. If I need to go into more detail, my thoughts is superstar, best player, an all NBA player, first team all NBA. Like, I don't even know if it's that far, but like just superstar. Does that make sense?
You need a guy who can transcend and be the best player on the court at any moment.
Okay. All right. So superstar and health. Okay.
Yep.
I feel like the Grizzlies have a superstar in Ja Morant, and health is going to just happen if it happens. All right. What's your next one?
Athletes.
Okay.
And I think Black Ninja DJ's got it in the chat, but a lot of that is like the depth and length. You need athletes. That's why I'm like big on taking the, I guess, quote unquote chance, if you would call it that, on Ron Holland for the Grizzlies in the draft. Like, oh, we have another huge athletic defensive menace wing. Wonder how we could use that. It's the biggest thing I think you saw Denver struggle with Minnesota, and now you're seeing Minnesota struggle with Dallas, is athletes that can just change a game just by out hustling you and getting to the 50-50 balls. I think it's huge.
Okay. I like it. All right. I'm going to go a little bit down the same path that Lightning DJ is going with depth and length, but more into the depth side of it. I'm going to go with role-playing vets. And the reason I went with role-playing vets and not just vets in general is because, one, they have to actually play. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, having them on the bench, great. In the locker room, great. Role playing, that means they are actually playing and they're in their role, which means that they can help you on the court. And so I'm going to go role playing vets. We're looking at Al Horford on the Celtics, if you want to mention one. Who's somebody that is on Dallas? I don't want to say Kyrie, but my God, Kyrie is taking his role. It sometimes is a backseat role. It more is the front seat. He sometimes has to be the driver. Sometimes he has to drop the kids off. Sometimes he's at the park just hanging out with the kids. Like, whatever role that they want him to play, like, that is the role. If you've seen them go away from Tim Hardaway Jr., and now they're going to these other guys, I just think they're role playing. But the role playing vets has been big for me personally, and seeing them slow down the I guess the game in general.
It's weird because a lot of these guys you don't look at as vets.
No.
Even though PJ Washington's been in the league for a long time. Even Gafford's been in the league for a while. Kyrie, Dante Exum has not been in the league for a while, but started in the league a while ago. So it's kind of like a weird combo in that regard, but they do have a ton of depth that has to play and help.
Yep. All right. So what is your next one?
Shooting.
Okay.
Like, and I've seen a lot of stuff. I think it's fair. Like, it's like, hey, if you're shooting the most threes and making the least, that's a problem in your scheme. You can't have that. And you can say you need to adjust and things like that 100%. At the same time, if you can't make shots in this league, you can't win. Just not going to hold up. I mean, I think being able to play inside out and work with all that stuff is huge. At the same time, you got to have guys to kick it out to. It's the biggest issue with PJ Washington right now is he keeps getting corner threes and missing them.
Right.
Like, that's a problem. And so, granted, Dallas seems to be winning anyways, but you got to have shooting, right?
For sure. Update on the game: Minnesota 84, Dallas 83 with 7.5 to go. It's been a lot of back and forth, and finally a midi from Ant off the backboard. All right, so yours is shooting. I'm going to go with size. And the reason I'm going to go with size is because not in every series do you need size. But I do believe that you need to be versatile enough where when you need to have size, you have size, because I think we're seeing, with Minnesota, you don't want to load up on size completely. A big three right there from PJ Washington. You don't want to have all size, because then sometimes you can't play small ball. I do think you need to have size, such as somebody that you're coming off the bench, somebody that you can honestly lean on. And that's what we've seen with Derek Lively, but also Daniel Gafford is the Mavs went out and said, hey, we're going to go get some size. We need to beef up a little bit. They went and took a chance on a rookie, and they thought, you know what? He isn't going to help us, be able to play all postseason and be able to be the main guy that we can rely on. Let's go out and get Daniel Gafford. So I do think the Grizzlies need to make sure they have size. They do have some, but I think that's one of their biggest things in the offseason is to get some real size. That way they can kind of lean on it if need be.
Yeah, and I'm not worried about them getting that. I think that goes, again, not just in the big spot, right? I think that goes to wings. Like, Grizzlies have been a traditionally small team. You need big wings that can come and give guys like Luka and Kyrie trouble. As much trouble as those guys can have, right? I mean, you can only do so much, but you got to have some kind of disruptors in that.